I think, trash.
Okay, because it's covered in hair.
Welcome back, you guys. Yes, this one's bad. It's not great, you guys. But I do finally come back into the room, acknowledge that I've been ignoring the twins' room for way too long, and decided to jump in and help them reset. Now, this bed that we're looking at right here, that one, this is the same day that I am starting Calvin's room, because remember, Calvin's room was also pretty catastrophic. And I went in there, and instead of just cleaning like I thought I was going to clean, we actually did a declutter and organize. And I helped him sort through all of the stuff in his room and be like, keep trash, donate. And then when I left the room for that part, I went into the twins' room and we did the same thing on this day. And then later I looped back to Calvin's room. And then later I looped back to the twins' room to get everything done. So I realized they don't have a hamper in here. I don't know where the hamper is, but it's not in here. Also, I don't open the closet because we are going to do every closet in my house. That is coming up almost next. And so I intentionally did not try to mess inside that closet. Maybe that's where the hamper was, and I just never opened the closet doors. But it's definitely not here. So I had to get the laundry out. It's in a massive pile right outside that front door. And I eventually get through it and wash it all. And I'm very proud of that. But here we are trying to go through the basic things on the floor and play the keep or donate. Now, the twins are very, very, very sentimental, and it is incredibly hard to get them to get rid of anything, especially stuffies. It is a pretty big problem we have. And also, they are giant teens now. They're almost 15 years old. And for anybody who's new, who's like, why is your room like this? First of all, and they're 15. First of all, because I struggle with keeping my areas tidy and everything like that. And they've definitely picked up these habits from me, but I am trying to get better. And so I don't really check in their rooms. I don't really establish the fact that we have to clean our rooms because I don't do it as a baseline. It is a skill that I am trying to instill on myself. Also, by the way, I am using a scented, I think it's a lavender scented trash bag, several of them. I'm not sure how it made its way inside our house, but I am dying from it. I am sneezy. My nose is really inflamed. I'm barely breathing. But that turns out that's the only trash bags we have. And I hate it. I did manage to go pick up some unscented. Stop scenting trash bags. Just stop doing it. I'm going to write who are we going to write? I'm going to write Glad. I'm going to write oh my God, that's the only brands I know. The only brand of trash bag I know is Glad Hefty. Remember? Hefty. Or is it Glad Hefty? I don't know. Those are the two. We're writing those two brands, and I'm going to tell them to knock it off. So I was telling my daughter how stuffed up I was. So the girls are kind of too much for this space. There's just too much stuff in here for them. And I finally convinced them to move upstairs so that I can turn this room into an office, like a YouTube office. I do believe my husband's going to move his computer in. So it's going to be our, look at us, we're YouTubers / Twitch streamers, and we are a very modern household at this point. Okay, so I started by getting like a walking path in the room. We saw that, and now I'm going to try to do this nightstand with the drawers and then the other side of the room with the drawers. And I do have the intention of really going through things and trying to declutter and organize. That is my original intent. I do have my girls slightly off camera, and they are talking through the decisions with me. I'm not just throwing things away without them. And we are right now kind of me floating the idea of like, what if you went upstairs? What if you were upstairs? And I finally convinced them with a bribe. Upstairs is really big. They have 3 built-in beds, and I convinced them with a bribe. I was like, but what if we also get you guys like a mini fridge and a microwave up there? The reason why that is a realistic thing for us is because if you don't know, the twins are autistic. We are quite deep on the spectrum. I like into the point where I'm like split the spectrum. I'm team split the spectrum. If you don't know what that is, I love you for that. I love that you don't have to have an opinion on it, but we should. And so they will likely for sure live with me forever. And that's fine. I love that because I love being a mother. It's going to be great. But they are going to need to have some more of an independent space. And if we stay in this house for a long time, that space will be upstairs and we will try to get some sort of like a kitchenette to where it's more of a kind of an apartment. But I don't know that we can actually get like a real kitchenette in there because I don't know how much I trust them with a freaking stove, to be honest. I barely trust them with a microwave, to be honest. But that is what we are going to offer them and give them more of their own space. It's also going to have to be very much like an art studio. And we stop what we're doing in the middle of this. I'm not sure. I wasn't looking. I was talking and looking around my room. So we go upstairs and we discuss little ideas of what we can do. I said that I would break down these beds and put them in storage, probably in our attic, which I have to figure out how to lay, I think, plywood down in the attic so we don't fall through. A very small part in my attic is floored, and the rest is like beams / fall through. Do you think if I just lay down plywood, that would work? Because that's what it feels like happens when they like finish out attics to have it. It's too low hung for us to actually have a working attic. There are too many beams and stuff like that where it is. But if we put more stuff on the floor so I could like store my bins back a little bit further, I think things could work really well. I will break down their beds and everything like that and put it in storage just in case a year from now, it is absolutely not great for them. It's not okay. One thing I'm thinking about a lot is how hot it gets in Georgia and how heat rises. We're going to have to replace the split air conditioning that's upstairs. We have a portable AC unit that plugs into the window, but it doesn't fit into the window sill enough. And if you shut it off, the humidity and moisture from outside still gets into the house. And it becomes so muggy upstairs that it's kind of not something we can survive through. So I do want to exercise caution with moving them upstairs and not let it be a winter decision. Like, oh, we made this choice in December. And then like come July, it's not survivable. It's just too hot, just too muggy, not okay. I am not so important and YouTubery that I am willing to force my kids to live in a swampy ass attic. Like, what was it? Flowers in the attic? Do you guys remember that? Also, why were we consistently traumatized when we were younger? Flowers in the Attic by what was it? VC Andrews? Yeah, I really don't want that to happen because in that, I definitely murder one of the kids if theoretically I'm the mother in the book, right? And then there's like, I guess later one of my sons and daughters grow up and marry each other and become like a world-class ballerina. Am I remembering that part correctly? The eldest daughter does become like a renowned ballerina. Yes? It's been a while since I've read that book, to be honest, but I feel like that was part of it. And then she cuts her hair and wears a dress that she remembers her mom used to wear. And then later her mom like cuts up her face a whole bunch. So she's scarred because she felt like she had been so vain in her youth. That's what led to her locking her kids in the attic for years and years and years. And I'm like, maybe it wasn't vanity because your parents were on board. It was your kids locked in the attic of your parents' house. So like, I would say generational trauma definitely played into that plot line 100%. But so weird. Like what? Okay. That's in conclusion, gonna try not to muck duck any of my kids in my path to have an office in my house. So there's I feel like that's a really good boundary to set. Highly encourage everybody. You know what? 'Tis the season. We're going into the new year. We're coming on to Christmas. Why don't you guys write down your boundaries? 2026 boundaries. Take some time to reflect. What do we want those to look like? This is a mental health channel. So I am not a therapist, but I will text Millennial Meg, who is a therapist. And if any of this goes wrong, feel free to sue her. It's fine. Just kidding. All of this is alleged. She's not even a good therapist, so don't listen to any of her advice ever. I certainly don't. But okay, boundaries that we want. One of mine is not to lock my kids in the attic and then poison one with arsenic. Other boundaries could be things like you don't always have to say yes when somebody asks some things of you, self-care. Sometimes you can decline. Find your own boundaries. We're looking forward to it. 2026 is going to be the year of the feral. We're going to do amazing things. I love this for us. Okay, what else are we doing? All of the coloring books. Here's the other thing. Much like me, who doesn't have ADHD 100%, for sure I know I don't, because nobody's told me for a fact that I do. When we put things away, like all of these coloring books, all of these things, they're gone forever. Our brains are never going to register them again. We had that same problem when we organized Calvin's room, remember? So we did discuss clear bins as a solution, but I totally don't have ADHD. But anyways, can we go back to what I was saying previously? Yes. Before I started going on a tangent about locking my kids up. I do start this out with like trying to have the intention of a deep, deep clutter. But since we are moving upstairs, now I just want it to be not horrifying. Those are the standards. Not horrifying, sorting some of the things, but genuinely don't care that much. That was my daughter helping make sure I was in frame. But apparently she doesn't care about the top of my head. So we cut off my head for most of this video. When I went through this, I was like, oh, I don't really care that much anymore. We just want to be not disgusting. Because we're moving upstairs, we need to think more about storage solutions that aren't enclosed. We were talking about, with Calvin's room, we were talking about clear bins so you can see what's inside of them. I do love that idea. One of my daughters floated the idea of shelving, like shelves being up on the walls, because like me, she likes to see her stuff. And she's like, I want to put up the models that I've crafted out of clay, the pictures that I paint, everything like that. We want those out to be appreciated. We have to pick what color we're going to paint the attic, not the attic. The room that's next to the attic, that's certainly not an attic. It's the upstairs playroom. See, you guys, because there's a door separating where they're going to live in the attic. Still a good person, still a great mom, award-winning mother. Thank you very much. Probably. If there was a Best in Show prize for motherhood, it would be me. Maybe I can get that made for me. Probably. Okay, you can get almost anything on Etsy. Okay, so we have to paint, they said either pink or purple, which makes me want to die a little bit, but that's fine. It's their room. Hopefully we can get it's their choice. I don't care what they pick as long as they pick. Certainly hope that they can pick the same color and aren't like split the room in half. Half is pink, half is purple. I would hate that. They want posters on the walls, which I love. It's just very cute. And then I know where I think I'm going to put the mini fridge and the microwave. I don't know. And then we also, so much time has passed, by the way. And now we are coming back in to try to start over. And it is a nightmare. Now, this is clearly poor parenting. So hold off on contacting Etsy for my Best in Show. But I was like, F it, I don't care. I don't feel well. And I abandoned again. And all of it is a huge nightmare. But I did manage to finish Calvin's room. So Calvin has a clean room and the twins have this. Fine. Everybody has their favorite. I just want mine to be obvious. And so favorite Calvin gets a healthy space to live. And oh my God, my leg is so asleep. Hold on, you guys. It is so asleep. It's like it's on fire. Okay, don't get distracted. You can stay focused. So every night when I tell my kids to get ready for bed, I have to give them tasks like, all right, screens off, teeth brushed, pajamas. And then we're folding in some other things where I'm like, okay, one of my twins had her braces removed. So I'm like, don't forget to brush your retainer, brush your teeth, put your retainer in to sleep in. And Calvin has had to do a 10-minute tidy in his room where I'm like, check for trash, check for dishes, get your laundry into your hamper. Okay, do we have too much laundry? Let's remember to start a load of laundry tomorrow. And his room has maintained being clean. And that's like 2 weeks running, which is fantastic for us. By the way, this version of Beth is the day before Thanksgiving version of Beth. I'm like, let's get it done the day before Thanksgiving. Yay, right? Okay. So after this not whole house. Oh my God, Beth, you can do this. It's fine. You can remember words. Words aren't that hard. It doesn't matter what your hormones are doing. Brain fog be damned. Where are you in your story? Ugh. Okay. What? Okay. So after I clean this room, now I'm adding those tasks onto the twins' nighttime routine, and they have maintained their bedroom being clean, clean enough. Like you'll see how I just left a lot of clutter on the flat surfaces because they're gonna be transitioning. We're gonna be moving. So I stopped caring so much. Also, Thanksgiving was coming up and I needed to clean my house for Thanksgiving, and Christmas was coming up and I needed to decorate for Christmas. I had to make some strategic choices. My strategery is that I'm going to have to do a massive declutter anyways, moving the twins upstairs. Upstairs has to be organized. Holy crap. I do think I want to get like a really big easel so that they can paint their massive canvases upright. Is that better, or does the paint drip down? It has to be better because when you see a lot of people painting, they paint upright unless they're doing that weirdo splatter painting job. Or when they like tie a paint bucket to a string and then like poke a hole in the paint bucket and then swirl it around a massive canvas underneath. That's not their style of paint, and they better not ever figure out that style of painting exists because it will become their style, and my garage will turn into their bucket of paint extravaganza situation. And I have to clean out my garage anyways because I absolutely need to start working out again. That has to happen. And oh my God, it needs to happen. I need my husband to take that stupid dummy thing, that face dummy that's in my garage that scares me so much. He's got to take it somewhere because I am too scared to go in my garage. I think the dummy thing's going to move. I am so terrified of animatronics and mannequins and just basically anything lifeless. A human form that has no life. I'm not convinced that it's not going to get up and chase me, to be honest. That's probably where my obsession with the zombie apocalypse really comes from. It's not that I really fear that zombies are going to come. I just baseline have always thought that. I have a very vivid memory, not a pivot, when I was a very young girl and we were it's to the point where like I have such vague portions of this memory that I don't know how much of it is true and how much I've built into the memory as I've grown and thought about it. But we were at, I believe, an amusement park. Kind of feel like it was in Pennsylvania or somewhere weird like that. I lived in Pennsylvania when I was very young. I feel like we went back and we were visiting. And there was somehow a Noah's Ark portion of this. And I remember walking in and it was like a mannequin of Noah at his desk. And I freaking lose it. But I'm very young and it's just my brother and our friends, like a mutual the person we came back to visit. Our moms were outside and we were inside. And I absolutely lose it. And I remember my brother trying to find a grown-up to help us out. Because I thought Noah was going to move and come get me. I thought I was going to be grabbed. And that's just how I feel about everything. Oh my gosh. And then as a full-ass adult, I was not able to drink, but I was in the army. So was that 1920? I was 19 or 20. I think I was 20. And I am in San Antonio, right? I'm in San Antonio and they have a Ripley's, believe it or not. And I'm not sure if I told you guys this story before, but it doesn't matter. And I went with my boyfriend and we were like, oh, it's a Ripley's, believe it or not, haunted house. Let's go. And so we went and the premise is it used to be a coffin factory, but somebody died in the factory and therefore it got closed down, but now it's slightly haunted. And when you go, it's a 3-story, you go to the top and you walk your way down. And when you go to the very top, it's a really cheesy, like funeral parlor setup. And there is a coffin in the middle of the room. And you can obviously see the person who is guiding you through it, like your host of the evening. She very obviously presses a button and a super cheesy, tacky, skeleton-y dead person pops up out of the coffin and screams. It is like elementary school at best level of animatronics. Now, we paid so much money because we were so very poor, because we were like privates in the army. And so we had no money and we paid so much money to go. And I was like, I'm going to pull everybody's teeth out because this was like half my paycheck. And if it's like this, this is so stupid. I hate everyone. Then they open the door to start the tour. And it is the most well done, most terrifying haunted house I have ever been in. I don't know the man in front of me. My boyfriend was behind me. I don't know the man in front of me. I climbed up his back for safety. That's what I did. I scaled like a cat. I scaled the tallest thing next to me for a taller vantage point. Half were animatronics that I was very, very scared of, but interspersed with that were humans. And I was like, how can you exist in this workplace environment? Oh my God. And down the hall, there was like a cage and it was this man and he was pacing back and forth like he had rabies. Sorry. I didn't cough at all. And I was like, oh my God, at least he's behind those bars, right? In my head, I don't know how he read my mind, but he stops, makes dead ass eye contact with me, pushes the bars apart and sprints at me. And that is when I literally died. I've never been so scared in my life. And we finally get out and I had been so scared that I am nauseous for like the next 2 hours. 10 out of 10. Such a good one. Would never be able to go back. I can't handle stuff like that. I was so much braver when I was 20. So yeah. Also, why am I telling you guys that story while I'm cleaning my kid's house? That's very weird. Have any of you guys been there? It's like, it was basically across the street from the Alamo. I don't know if it's still there. I have been back to the Alamo. The Alamo is still there, in case you're curious. And I didn't look across the street because I was absolutely not going to try to take my children through that haunted house because they're not tall enough for me to climb. They're taller, but I need a significantly taller man to scale to protect me. And 110%, I will be ditching my dumb kids in the haunted house to be eaten by the monsters. Like, I should, by now, if you can't save yourself, then that's on you. So I would have left my kids. It was too scary. Sorry. Really don't contact that Etsy Mother of the Year award yet. Maybe in 2026, we can put that in our goals. So we're going to split the page and it's going to be half boundaries, write those down, and half goals. And my goal is to maybe save my kids in haunted houses if we happen to be in one. We won't. I'm way too scared. Anyway, so under the bed, joyous. Oh, it's joyful and triumphant. Less food trash than I was expecting. So that was really, really nice. I love that. And that desk, I have had one of my kids clean off every night. It's one of her chores where I'm like, clear off your desk. And I don't know, it's going well. Hopefully we can keep it going. If I remember, my room, not great. So maybe I should, okay, I'm not going to do it next. I'll do it after the closets. So we'll do closets next. Then I will do my room and the laundry room because they do need to be done. But when I started putting together this video, I pulled all of the footage because it has been over a while. And I was just holding it because I knew I had other things that I needed to publish first. And then I edited and I'm doing the voiceover much after this. And so when I sat down, I was like, this is going to take forever because I feel like the twins' room took like 12 hours to clean. There's going to be so much footage. And then when I stacked the footage, it really wasn't that much. And once I sped it up, I think I sped it up 250%. So just slightly over double time. 40 minutes after I clip all myself out. Like it did not take me very long to clean this room, probably because I decided to change what I was going to do. And I was like, okay, it doesn't have to be as in depth. But I do appreciate that it doesn't take nearly as long. That makes me so incredibly happy. I have really good plans for what I want to do in this room, but I don't have it exactly set up how I'm going to have my face facing the window because Jesus is the best ring light, in case you're curious. If Jesus is the sun. Also pivot. Jesus is the son of God, yes, but I meant like the sun as in the giant star at the center of our universe. That's what I was trying to reference. S-U-N, not S-O-N. But wow, if you have to explain your jokes in such depth, they are not that funny. Not relevant to me. I'm just saying that was a life tip. Write that down next to your goals. Just that's free of charge. I am going to paint the room the same color as my bedroom because I do look prettiest with this color, and that was the entire purpose that I painted this room. It is one of my favorite colors, but I do look really pretty in this color or next to this color, and if there's anywhere I want my husband to think, dang, she's looking really good right now, it's in here, and also in my office space, clearly. So I do want to paint. I want my desk oriented towards the window, but that really leaves my backdrop being Mark's desk, and his desk is ugly and stupid because it's a boy desk. We'll have to figure that out. So what I wanted to pivot to is, spoilers, it's Catholicism. Let's talk about being Catholic real quick. I saw on Instagram, I'm not sure if it's true. Did the Pope really say like, stop praying to Mary and stop praying to the saints? Like, you guys are bad at religion if you outsource your prayers. Like, they are not to be as special or as privileged. And I was like, whoa, okay, first of all, rude. You're the one, you guys started that standard. Don't shame us for doing what you guys were like, this is a good idea. Let's departmentalize. Like, I think that I like that. I like the idea that there is somebody up there specifically trying to help me find lost pets. I like that there's somebody up there who is dedicated to trying to get me the lottery numbers. Like, I want to have specialized, compartmentalized saints handling my very specific tasks. Probably because I am so nitpicky about things where I'm like, okay, I want this, but not that. Like, please don't try to help me in this area. I am not interested in your advice. I definitely need help in this area. So I need task-oriented prayer answerers. I am a fan of the saints. And I like the idea of Jesus not fulfilling one of your prayers. So you go tell his mom on him and you're just like, hey, get your son to pull his crap together. I have been asking him for very specific things for a while now, and where are he? And then she has to go be like, Jesus, are you doing your homework? Because I have people on earth who are calling me saying that you're not. And he has to be like, Mom, I totally am. I promise. I did prayers so long. I'm just taking a break with video games right now. And then see, like, this is the dynamic I want. And now I'm sad because Pope, American Pope, getting a little wild. Don't make me regret having an American Pope if you're going to go all crazy like this. Him coming in being like, nope, you get Jesus. Do we get the Holy Spirit still? Because guess what, buddy? The Orthodox don't really enjoy the fact that we have Holy Spirit. So what are we doing with that guy? Anything? It's the reason you guys all split a long time ago. So what are we doing? So love that for us. It's been a while since we've had the church just kind of mix it up and cause a kerfuffle. Like, all the Protestants went and did their own thing. So now we just have each other to infight with, and that's not nearly as fun. So I don't know. I'm not really rooting for the split of the church, but if they're looking for a head of the church, I would like to offer myself. Because if we could fold the cult into some of the Catholic Church finances, unstoppable. Also, I think we get a tax discount. But could you imagine my leadership and like half of the gold the Catholic Church has, paint the artistry? I could be like, hey, you guys, I have this painting. I will auction it off. And now we have $7 million for funtivities. Like, that would be so fun. Imagine how good that would be. It would be incredible. I bet we all get so addicted to drugs because it feels like where you spend your money. If you get too much money, like, next step is probably cocaine. Allegedly, I don't know. I'm not that rich yet. I still have to infiltrate the Catholic Church a little bit better. And then, let's maybe pull some Scientologists in with us. Like, they are running out of people anyways. I would love to overthrow Scientology just a little bit. I will keep Tom Cruise as like, it's not kind to say like a show monkey. That's not polite, but like a polite show monkey. I don't know. Yeah, we could do this, you guys. They have lots of buildings. Scientology does have a lot of buildings. I would absolutely have to rebrand because they make their name too large on them. Not a fan. So probably pull off a lot of the lettering, but they have buildings. So we have places to store our artwork after we take it from the Vatican. Because if we're being realistic, I'm not getting the Vatican when we split the Catholic Church. I just don't think they're going to let me have it. I think whoever is Pope at the time of the split will probably maintain Vatican-ness. But he is American. Maybe he wants to establish in Chicago. I bet you there's a pretty decent Scientology building in Chicago that he could have. I'm happy to move overseas. I can take the Vatican. That's fine. It's old. Get you something new, babe. It's fine. If we split up, you can have the new stuff. I'll take the crappy old house. I don't mind. Just get your name off the lease. Like, not lease, probably deed. If we're being honest, I doubt they're renting the Vatican at this point, but it's a pretty hard housing market, so they might be renting. No judgment here. Go ahead. I think that's a pretty good plan. 2026, move into the Vatican. The downside to that plan is that, like, if I'm moving into the Vatican, should I really move the twins upstairs and paint 2 different rooms? Because painting is such a pain in the ass. I hate painting. What I hate is taping off the walls, and I am not a good enough edger in painting to not bump the ceiling or the floor or anything. I cannot. How do people do that? I'm not hiring painters because I doubt I can get them to like let me film it. And I don't want to pitch the idea of them coming to do housework, but there's a video camera set up. I feel like that's the start of a very different online career. So I don't know. We'll have to see. If I'm head of the church, I definitely can't accidentally convince people that we're starting an OF while they paint my house. And I don't want to paint my house if I'm moving into the Vatican. Like, that's just how it goes. I'll talk to Mark about it. We'll see what our plans are. Probably have to paint some rooms. Ugh, hate painting rooms. I'm going to do a bad job. That's how that is. I'm going to do a bad job. We can live inside bad job painted house. And then when we have to move, I will hire professionals. And then the people who buy my house, they get to live in a nicely painted house and not my trashy crap job. And I love that for me. Okay, so that's all the clothing that I smashed outside. And now I'm smooshing it into the hallway so my husband can access the bathroom and fix that door handle, which he does. And I'm very happy about that. And since all of that laundry was in the entryway, and remember, this is the day before Thanksgiving, the next day was Thanksgiving if you could not follow along. And we had people over. So that was really a lot of really good motivation for me to do all of that laundry. And I actually do. I go through it the rest of this night. And in the morning, it was just a couple more loads to get through. And I got through it and I was really happy. I have tried to stay up on laundry. It hasn't been great, but I will do a few more loads today and love that for me. I need to get some sort of hamper in the girls' room in the meantime, because every night they've been taking their laundry from their room into the laundry room and putting it in a random hamper that's in there. And usually they shower in my bathroom. So often their clothing ends up in my hamper, but all of our towels end up on the floor of their room. I don't know if it is catching up on the mic and I'm not willing to get up and check, but I hear so many ornaments falling out of the tree. Oh, I got to go check. I got to see if Sweet Potato is in the tree actively. She sure was. She was knocking all of the ornaments off of the tree, and Hot Sauce was there egging her on. So apparently they were fighting under the tree and she was climbing up it. I have pulled her out of the tree 4 times so far. She is really getting into it, which drives me crazy because she's the reason we had to buy that tree. I think this is our second year with that tree. The year before, we had a very cheap tree that she ripped basically all of the lights off of, and half of the lights stopped working. But she was a tiny little kitten, so I forgave her. And last year she wasn't in the tree very much, but this year she was like, "Oh yeah, I remember this. It's amazing." And so now, and she's so bonkers. She's so possessive over the tree space. And one of the people commented, they're like, "Has nobody told you about torties?" No, nobody told me that torties are bonkers possessive over Christmas trees. I did not get the choice in having Sweet Potato. Sweet Potato was bestowed upon me by the universe. Probably not one of the saints because they're not allowed to departmentalize anymore. So I guess thank you directly, Jesus. See, I am the best Catholic. Look at me. I obey all the rules all of the time. I'm number 1. Okay, if you guys contact Etsy, go ahead and get me the Best Catholic Award. Clearly, I'm not getting the Best Mom Award, but any award will do, honestly. I just like the recognition. It's fine. All right, we are basically done. Blackberry has been such a big helper this entire video. She has been so involved. It's really cute. I don't know why she really loves it when I clean her spaces, the upstairs or the girls' room. But she doesn't really show up for any of my other videos. You guys probably don't even know she exists most of the time. And Hot Sauce absolutely won't come in here because I'm in here and he hates me still. So that's fun. All I really need to do is get everything kind of put back away. What I do think happened is at the very beginning of the video, we sort all of the stuffed animals and then I convinced the girls to let go of some of them. And I just put the stuffed animals by the door. I don't think I ever collect them. And I think they just like migrate back in. And all of the stuffed animals, even the ones we selected for donation, are now back on the girls' beds. That was a fail. I tried really hard to get them to let some stuff go. So we will be repeating that practice when we go upstairs. I think they were willing to get rid of about 10 to 13 stuffed animals, which is a massive record. One time, I think I've told this story before, but I'm in the era of just repeating my story, so I do apologize. A long time ago, I asked one of my neighbors who was a teen if she would accept a toy from one of my girls who was much younger that we were rehoming. And so it was the most battered My Little Pony. It had been colored on with markers. The hair was matted. It was very destroyed. And so she walked over and gave it to our neighbor. And our neighbor was like, I'm so grateful. And it really instilled a good, here's how you let things go. And I've run out of time. This is what the room looks like. And we have been maintaining it. And I'm very proud of that. But thank you so much for spending time with me today. I cannot wait to see what we get up into the next video. And I love you. Bye.